All right, let's put on our senior architect hats today. We've got a pretty high-stakes challenge in front of us. Installing Istio, a super powerful service mesh, right onto a live Amazon EKS cluster. And here's the kicker. This thing is already running critical applications. So the real question is, how do we do this major surgery in a way that the platform teams can actually own and manage without, setting everything on fire?
I love this quote because it gets right to the point. YOLOing the cluster. We've all seen it. It's that risky, untested change where you cross your fingers and just hope for the best. That is exactly what we are here to avoid. What we're aiming for is the opposite. Something deliberate, controlled, and, frankly, professional.
So welcome to the no YOLO rollout. Look, this is more than just a list of commands to copy and paste. It's really a mindset. It's about having professional discipline when you're working on a live system, which means having clear guardrails and a solid strategy before we even think about making a change.
So let's really put ourselves in that hot seat for a second. You are responsible for a live cluster. It's serving real traffic, it's driving the business. How in the world do you introduce something as massive as a service mesh with any confidence at all? It actually all boils down to one core principle.
And here it is. This is our mantra: control the blast radius. Every single decision we make from this point forward is about this one idea. If something goes wrong, and let's be honest, sometimes it does, we want the impact to be tiny, contained, and easy to manage. This is how we move forward safely without risking the whole system. Okay, so our very first move is to run some pre-flight checks. Just like a pilot does a walk around before takeoff, we need to inspect our environment before we install anything new. Think of these checks as our foundational guardrails. Now, these steps might seem a little basic, but trust me, they are absolutely crucial. We're confirming our EKS version is compatible, making sure we actually have the CPU and memory to run this thing, and creating a dedicated namespace to keep things organized. But hey, pay close attention to that one in bold. Pin the Istio version. This is so important. It stops your package manager from deciding to auto-upgrade Istio on you and introducing who knows what kind of breaking changes. This way, you stay in control. With our pre-flight checks out of the way, we've hit our first big strategic decision. And choosing an install profile, it's not just a technical detail. It directly impacts our blast radius and how complex our service mesh is going to be right out of the gate. So here are our two main options. The default profile gives you the whole shebang right away. It's got all the features, which is cool for a quick demo, but on a live cluster, it's a huge resource hog with a lot of moving parts. So we're going to go the pro route with the minimal profile. It only installs the absolute core components, which means a smaller footprint, lower risk, and we can add other features later on if we actually need them. This is a perfect example of controlling that blast radius. So we've installed Istio's control plane. Great, but how do we know it's actually working? Now we have to get into the validation phase. We need to see Istio's sidecar proxy get injected into a pod, and we have to do this in a way that proves the system works without touching anything important. The rule here is simple, but it is absolutely non-negotiable. You have to start with a non-critical namespace. Pick something internal, maybe a monitoring tool or some admin dashboard, anything that won't cause a full-blown incident if it hiccups for a few minutes. You never, ever, ever test on your most critical applications first. This is our validation loop. It's a pattern you're going to use over and over. First, we label the test namespace, which basically tells Istio, hey, pay attention to this. Next, we restart the pods to actually trigger the sidecar injection. Then, we verify. We check that our pods have 2 containers now instead of just 1. That's our proof. And finally, the most important part. We confirm that the app still works. This simple, repeatable loop is really the heart of a controlled rollout.
Okay, so we've installed the control plane, we've validated it on a workload that doesn't matter too much. Now, before we hand this off to the wider platform team, we have one final safety check. This is our pre-production readiness checklist. It's our final go/no-go.
This checklist is really just a final review of our strategy. Did we prove sidecar injection works? Check. Did we pin the Istio version so we don't get any nasty surprises? Check. Did we use the minimal profile to keep our footprint small? You bet. And maybe most importantly, did we document this whole thing so the team can actually manage it? Check. Every one of these reinforces that we're focused on safety, stability, and control. So there we have it. We've done it. A safe, professional, no YOLO Istio installation on a live EKS cluster.
The foundation is now in place, which is awesome, but really, this is just the beginning. The next, and maybe the most important question is, now what? How do you leverage this brand new service mesh to actually deliver real value? Better security, observability, reliability? Well, that's the next chapter in the journey.